guys, I'm Moriarty.
Hi guys, I'm Fairy Diana, and this is Art Goes Boom. Okay guys, today's topic is going to be Girls Like Us by Cristina Alger. Alger.
If you know how it's properly pronounced, please put it in the comment down below.
Yes.
Help us out. Help us sisters out.
We are really bad at names.
this week has been a struggle.
It has
just help us.
But this author, she is a Swedish best-selling author. She has been in the New York Times for her books. Basically, all of her books have hit the New York Times best-selling list. This particular book, as well as all of her other ones, she sticks in the mystery, thriller, suspense category, which I personally enjoyed. Even though I'm not a huge suspense fan, this book was actually, surprisingly enough, a pretty interesting book to get through. So what she focuses on more or less is her female protagonists. They are very complex, very resourceful, very innovative in their how they handle things as well as how they think, which I truly enjoy because, as you guys know in the previous video that we had, girl power. Let's go. So I'm going to hand it over to my partner in crime to just give you a brief synopsis of what the book is about, basically what is on the back, and then we will talk to you about how we felt about the book going forward. Take it away.
Alright, so FBI agent Nell Flynn hasn't been home in 10 years. Nell and her father, homicide detective Martin Flynn, have never had much of a relationship, and Suffolk County will always be awash in memories of her mother, who was murdered when Nell was just 7. But when Martin dies in a motorcycle accident, Nell must return home to close his estate, and in the process ends up becoming involved in the last case her father worked, an investigation into the brutal murder of 2 young women. The further Nell digs, the more likely it seems to her that her father should be the prime suspect, and that his friends on the police force are covering his tracks. Plagued by doubts about her mother's death and her own role in it exonerating her father in that very case, Nell can't help but ask questions about who killed 2 women and why. But she may not like the answers she finds, not just about those she loves, but also about herself.
So, as you can see, it is a full-packed book of just turmoil for this agent, Nell. In my opinion, I gave the book 3.5 stabs. And
I gave the book 4.5 stabs.
So, what we'd like to do now is basically tell you what we thought about the book as a general, and then kind of dive into parts that we liked, parts we didn't like, things of that sort. There is spoilers. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
We'll be hitting somewhere here.
If you haven't read the novel
and you want to,
don't listen any further, because
we're
probably going to spoil something for you.
Come back. Yes.
And also, we gave y'all a whole week's worth of warning.
A whole week.
So y'all should have read the book and been ready to discuss with us when we came back to the camera.
Agreed. So, the first thing that I will say about the book is, I would call this book a slow burner, for sure. It's one of those things where it starts off very kind of abstract-y and like what direction the book is going to take as far as like what journey we're going on with her. This book is written in first person, Nell. That's who we follow. That is her thought process, what she sees, what she experiences, who she talks to is all done through her point of view. I personally felt like this almost became a did not finish when we had hit our
original
cutoff, which we were going to do two podcasts on this book. We thought, you know what, let's go ahead and finish it and do a whole podcast. But it was so many parts of it that I needed more. And then, like, as the book continued to progress and the crimes and the investigation continued to move forward, like, that is when I started to kind of get drawn in. But, like, in the beginning, when we were just learning a little bit about Nell was boring.
I was thinking the same thing, actually, and I actually gave the book a higher rating. For me, it seemed like Miss Algers wasn't aware of what was important. It felt like she was pointing out every little detail, which when you're doing a novel can be a lot. The book seemed really dense, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be as easy a read as I originally figured. It was only 273 pages.
Very short book.
But the way she was describing things, like, I can't even fucking tell you where they were, but I can tell you that they're by water. I can tell you that egrets are a very, very prominent bird. I can tell you that they drop crabs from the sky onto rocks.
It's extremely cold
to
where
eat
they're
them. I can tell you that they have, they are very close to, like,
New Hampshire,
a bridge or something, because
Hamptons.
there's lots of immigrants that are coming in and taking over and ruining the Hamptons. Is it the Hamptons?
It's the Hamptons.
Ruining the Hamptons for the travelers, the rich summer goers. And I think it was very interesting because she does not reveal that Nell is part Latina until much, much later into the book.
So
it started building up this, like, anti-immigrant, like, people of color notion, and then you realize that that is how Nell feels about herself, and that it's not until later when she realizes that the girls going missing are of color, they're Latina, that they're working girls, they are girls that nobody is coming to look for. And they're like, wow. She's like, wow, they look like me. I look like these girls. Someone needs to help
Girls
these
Like
girls.
Us is the title of the book. Very much tells you what it's going to be about. You just don't find it out until closer to the middle and to the end.
Middle to end.
This book had a lot of different things in it. It had human trafficking because the girls were underage. You had to deal with race and cultural differences, socioeconomic
differences. There were also thoughts of police brutality, not necessarily described in the book, so it's not like something we would give a content warning for, but it is something that is spoken about and something that kind of colors the lens that the story is told through.
There were moments in the book, and this is part of the spoilers that we were kind of talking about, where they discuss how the police of this specific county, just this county, have such a high
success
rate in getting
their confessions.
Yes. So it's like a 94%.
Which is outrageous.
Which never happens.
For a very small town.
Yes. But
can you imagine a 94.4% success rate in a town of 150,000 people?
That's high as fuck. Doesn't happen. Yeah, so
not without him.
So there was a lot of bribing. There was a lot of intimidation tactics that were used to make criminals just be like, "Yeah, I did it. It was me." And this was touched on. It was barely skimmed upon. Like, I wouldn't say that it was put in depth or anything like that. It was questioned by Nell when she talked to her father's friends who were on the force, who are also some of the higher ups in the department.
Yes, Mr. Dorsey, I believe his name was. He is Flynn's godfather, one of the dad's best friends. He is also the chief of detectives.
Yeah.
So he is who they would report to if they thought there was any kind of corruption or things of that nature.
Which is funny because he's corrupt. So I would begin with just talking about the beginning of the book. In the beginning of the book, chapters 1 through 4, I would say, it's just about her coming to town, her spreading her father's ashes, her just kind of reliving a lot of the life that she lived there 10 years ago.
It's sad.
It's very depressing. Nell has a very rough life. And for just a moment, can we just say that in this book, Nell went through some stuff, okay? I mean, the girl was off her job as an FBI agent because she shot a Russian mafia dude and ended up getting hurt And then
she got shot through the shoulder. She's on like medical leave, so she can't work in the field. So they're trying to send her to physical therapy. They're trying to get her to see a shrink. She's all
nah. And then throughout this book, this girl gets just beat down, battered. She has to fight. She has to deal with like people trying to kill her. You know, like there's just one thing after another thing. And I am just like, can I just say that as a reader, I applaud the fact that this author was like,
put the main character through the paces. So many authors are like, it's my baby, we need to make sure she gets to the end. But I applaud authors that are like, alright, so this is the main character in this novel,
and she's gonna go through stuff.
I don't know if she's gonna make it to the end, but it's gonna be interesting.
Like I had worries like midway through that we were gonna lose her like a few times.
Who is gonna make it? Who's gonna be in the next book?
It was definitely one of those things. I do believe that this book is a standalone book. I don't believe. Well, it's not part of a series, and I don't think there will be a series added to this book. It very much had a very close-ended conclusion.
Yes, it was very clean, very wrapped up. I liked that,
which was nice. The things that I struggled with in this book is like was discussed earlier, is that there were things that just weren't important that were really like detailed out, and the things that you would be like, yeah, no, that's important, she would be like really quick with it. Super quick with it. Like in chapter 1, like it starts with them on the boat.
You know what kind of boat it is. You know what kind of wood it's made out of.
But you don't know how she got there. Like, you start the book and she's on the boat in a funeral. Like, usually, like, when there's a funeral, there's, like, this moment of reflection that happens before, and then the, like, beginning of the funeral. No, you started with her on the boat. Beers, daddy's ashes. That's it. That's what you got.
That was chapter 1.
But the birds, though. You got like a solid 4 or 5 pages about the birds. I could.
And like, I can understand if the birds were important. I can understand if like,
they're important for this. Cause they got birds on this. You see the little red dots here? Those are birds.
I could understand if the birds were like
a significant part.
Right, or hyperbole for how she used to get, like, to place. Like, you know, this is my hometown, but I haven't been here in a while, and she's on the chase, and she's hiding, and she's got to get out of the forest. She's got to get out of the sand dunes. She follows the egrets back to town, because that's where they like to congregate for the crab. Like, I could get that.
No.
But that's not what happened.
Not any of that.
I know so much about egrets, and I didn't even know they fucking existed before this novel.
It definitely, I will say that there were a lot of, by midway through the book, there were a lot of untied ends. Like,
but not important ends. It's not like it wasn't a well-written mystery.
It was very great.
Or like a well-twisted knot. It's not like that. It's just that she is so detailed about certain things that did not matter that you became invested. Well, I was like, well, damn, what's happening to the egrets? What are we doing to the sand dunes? What's up with the rocks? Like,
I was very invested in the house. The house had so much, just like, every time she'd walk around that house, another, like, several memories would pop up. And it was just, like, not important memories to any moment that she needed in the house. But, like, you knew about all of the roof. I mean, how
the leaky roof. You knew that the heat wasn't working.
Was bad.
That they didn't have a generator like the other people on the island.
You knew she liked cold showers.
Really?
Like, these were random things that you didn't really need. Like, there are moments if like she was coming back and like they were like she took a cold shower to wash the stench of the murder off. Like that kind of description would have been fine. But no, I was just like, I remember that my dad didn't let me have warm
showers.
He didn't know how hard it was to watch all of this hurt.
Right, like he wasn't aware how long a shower for a teenage girl should take.
Yeah.
Like, my hair was too long for the time frame that he gave it to me, so I cut it off, and he applauded me for the efficiency. Like,
yeah, no, like, there were, and the problem that I think I had is that, like, though the book was focused around her finding out what was going on with her father, there was an undertone to her also finding out what happened with her mother. But when you're looking at her as a person, as a character, you can tell that, like, there is no part of her mother being shown. Like, there's no moment where you see this, like, softness.
that reminds me, or, that's like her mom. She is all dad. Her personality, the way she functions, the way she tackles things, it's all dad. And her outward physique is mom.
But, like, you would think, like, being that the mom is someone that she holds very dearly, that there would be characteristics.
Anything.
That, you know.
Like, her softness. She has a little bit of it, and it shows, but it's never.
You don't get to see a lot of it.
No, and it's not completely linked to her mother either. And it's only in terms of trying to help other women who look like her. Yeah. So all of the victims were Latina. Luz, the girl that was the victim's best friend, she's also Latino, was also a working girl. The sister who reported Adriana missing, also Latina, also trying to help, also looked at her, looked like girls. Her. All very young girls.
15, 16-year-olds, which is why we were saying this does have sense of human trafficking in it, because obviously they came over here to get work so that they could make money so that they could live here. So, the one thing I will say, which I thought was kind of interesting, is just that no one saw her as a Latina. Like, and that is where you knew, like, she had to have had really strong features. So came over because they wanted to make sure that their daughter was born in the U.S.
So dad, all white, mom, Latina. And she is white passing because it was never
a surprise to the other girls.
Yeah, it never appears that she is Latina.
So, besides for that, I will say I did fall for a few of the characters I thought were really cool. Lee.
I love Lee.
Lee was great.
I love Lee. Lee was just a little Boy Scout in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yes. So, like, if you could put, like, a personality to Lee, he would
Cream
be like...
Puff. He is a cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
Like a melty cinnamon bun with all the best parts.
He's your best Boy Scout you'll ever have.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, he was the greatest. I was so sad about I was so sad about Lee. Like, legit.
I'm sure you guys already guessed it, but we're not going to tell you about Lee. Lee's great, though.
Literally, this book has a decent amount of body counts, but I was just like...
Yeah, Lee was great. Sarah, the best friend.
Sarah, yeah.
Best friend of Nell. You don't really see her a ton until close to the end of the book, but, like, she is solid. She is just...
as a rock.
Right? Like, she is, like, bestie material. And, like, there were moments where you were unsure, especially towards the end when she was, like, giving information but not giving, like, the information kind of situation. Where I'm like, is she... I don't know how I feel about her, but, like, as the book progressed to the end, you really see that Sarah is a solid rock. Then there was the reporter.
Anne Marie, or something to that effect. I think
she was always in a diner with some coffee with her biker boots on and her biker stuff, but she was hardcore. She was ready. Yes, she was very prepared. There were smaller roles.
I was personally very invested in the pathologist.
Yes!
I think it is very rude of all of these series to just kill off their pathologist. They're
good.
They would not be able to solve the mystery if they did not know what happened to the body. Pathologists are important. Coroners are important. Facts. They are important to the story. They are important to the evidence. And they make good characters. There should be more coroners.
Agree. She was one of my smaller role characters that I was invested in.
Loved her.
And also, What was the chief's name? The FBI chief's name?
Lightman, I think it was.
Whoever her boss was, he was great. Because he had, like, the dad moments, but then, like, the boss moments all at the same time. So, like, he would be, like, upset with her because she did something stupid, but then he would also be crying because he was like, you almost scared me. Like, it was, like, those moments where you just lived for that, like, that just connection. Because in the beginning, you don't think that she has a connection with anyone.
Anybody.
No one. Until
Nell is a lone wolf.
Yes, very much so. Something else I will say is that after you get to, like, chapter 22, like, it moves super, super fast. Like, everything just starts to, like, unravel at, like, the most speediest of paces. Like, it was, like, domino effects, like...
Lightman. I was right.
Lightman, yes. That's his name. He's great. But, yeah, that was one of the things we were talking about, was just, like, the book was just so fast. Like,
towards the end.
Yeah.
So it was like a train. So the beginning, very slow, building up momentum, but once it took off, it was gone.
Yeah, that is, I will give that to her 100%. I thought this book was well written. I didn't really find any moments where I was just like, I don't understand what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There are moments.
Even the parts that you didn't, like, understand why they were there, they were well written.
Yeah.
You enjoyed the moment, even though you didn't understand what it was there for.
Yeah, and
I like that a lot.
I do believe she was an attorney before she started writing books. So,
the things you learn?
Yeah, things you learn. Because I did look her up because
so prepared.
I looked her up because I wanted to know more about her as an author, because it's one of the things that I think is important is to find out the reason why people write books. You know, not just for the money, but to also, like, you know, to really, like, dive into, like, what's important.
She's so sweet and honest. I read books because reality sucks.
Reality does
and
suck.
I want to get away.
And, which is, you know, it's also one of those things where it's like, I love to fall into a world and just be completely immersed in it. But, like, I want to fall into the right world, if that makes sense.
I understand.
Because, like, if it's a world where I'm constantly just coming out of it because it's not holding me there, then there's no use.
Or it's rough.
Yeah.
Or it's, like, too much.
Yeah.
For you, so you have to, like, take breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, not great.
It's not a great feeling. So, for me, generally, as far as, like, murder mysteries and thrillers and suspense books go, I generally don't read them unless they are filled with supernatural things, because that is, like, my bread and butter as far as, like, my preference of what all of my character, like, categories that I like to read in. There has to be a science fiction supernatural aspect to them. So, like, all of them should have been elves, and then there should have been, like, you know, she should have been, like, a super high priestess or something. Like, in my mind, I'm slowly rewriting this book to fit, like, what I usually, you know, but I don't spend a lot of time in, like, real time, if that makes any sense to anybody. Basically our world, because, like,
why would you?
Why would I? But this book was great. I truly enjoyed it. We are going to do a little fun challenge of sorts. So if you can tell by the book, we'll try to,
like, make it a little bit.
There we go. Teamwork makes dream work. As you can see the book, we love the colors, and we thought it would be really fun to incorporate another form of art into our review. Not our review here, but later. We are going to use the colors of the book cover to create makeup looks. Now, let me be honest with you. We are both,
let me be clear,
very novelists at best at makeup. But we thought it would be really fun to add a additional art form with everything that we read, watch, or experience. So that is basically what we're going to give you about the book, because I'm glad that we chose this as our first novel for our podcast. I think it was a great start. It wasn't too intense, it wasn't too boring or anything of that sort. I think it was a perfect mixture of suspense and thrill, and there was so much intellect and complexity to it that I really enjoyed, which I know that I told you guys that in the introductory. That's what I love.
The body count is nice.
She loved the body count, people. There were more than two. Steps. But, oh, and this is something the fun that we decided to do, that every book that we read, we will give emoji ratings to. This book, because it was a murder mystery, we gave it stabs. So, excited for you guys to see the makeup. Well, we're not going to call it a tutorial because we're not teaching you.
And we'll call it a Get Ready With Us.
Yeah, a Get Ready With Us challenge.
Yes.
With the cover of
Girls
and
Like Us. If you like the Get Ready With Us, film your own and send it to us. Our Facebook will be in the link down below.
We love pictures. I want to see everybody's looks because I think
we need to come up with a hashtag.
Girls Like Us make or inspired makeup.
That's too long.
No. GLU
makeup challenge.
Yeah.
We'll put that hashtag in the comments down below.
She'll put that hashtag in the comments down below because, like I said, I live under the internet. I'm not friends with Google or the Book of Face or the birds of Twitter. But she likes it, and I truly enjoy the book. I would love to see everybody's makeup tutorials because I believe art is a wonderful expression. And our next book after our challenge that we're going to put out the following week is going to be As Old as Time. These are basically the dark versions of the stories in Disney. This will be the Belle and Beast.
Yeah, so there is Beauty and the Beast. It's a dark retelling, which is kind of a joke because, like, the originals are dark, but it's whatever. Yeah. This is specifically based off of the Disney books. And I think all of the books are written by Liz Braswell, right?
Yes, I believe so. So these are called Twisted Tales, As Old as Time. The question is, what if Belle's mother cursed the beast? What is next?
This is our next book, so if you want to read it with us,
please
go get it now. And we will do this in January, right? This is our book for January.
This is our book for January.
Yeah.
So please continue to support. I want to say thank you to everybody who has.
Yes,
who has liked it, who subscribed it.
Oh my god.
I am happy. And then we have to do the traditional YouTube thing where it is, please comment, like, and subscribe below. And if you haven't already, please hit that notification bell right here and be a part of the
like button.
The like button. And be a part of the Boom family. But that is going to be all for us today. Thank you so much for joining in. And until next time, this is Art Goes Boom.